Hello everyone. In the previous video, you all have understood the valuation of abnormal loss and also the valuation of closing stock, keeping in mind the normal loss. So today we are going to discuss all the remaining types of accounts to be prepared in the books of consignor and all the accounts to be prepared in the books of consignee. Well, we have all understood that the consignor prepares basically three types of accounts, that is consignment account, which we have studied in detail in our previous videos. And today I, Aarti Mudaliar, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, the Bhopal School of Social Sciences, I'm going to tell you the next two types of accounts which are to be prepared in the books of accounts of the consignor. Well, the next account is the goods sent on consignment account. This account is very simple in nature, just to allocate the amount of goods which the consignor must have purchased and must have recorded in his trading account. He takes out some of the goods and sends on consignment to the consignee. So he has to allocate this particular cost from his original cost to the consignment stock. Therefore, he will pass the entry as consignment stock to be credited with this particular amount. Now, how the journal entry shall be passed? The journal entry passed is consignment stock account debited to trading account. And the very next entry to put this amount in the consignment account would be consignment account debited to goods sent on consignment. And the last account to be prepared in the books of consignor is the consignee's account, that is the second party's account. Well, this account is very important because the consignor wants to know that how much of amount is recoverable from the consignee. So what all? Now, before understanding this particular account, we must understand that consignee stands as a debtor in the books of the consignor. Alright, because the amount which he sells on behalf of the consignor is with the consignee and the consignor has to receive those sale proceeds, of course, after deducting some of the expenses by the consignee. So how do we record it? In the consignee account to be prepared in the books of consignor. So the first thing to be recorded in the consignee account would be in the debit side, and that is the amount of sales. Now this sales, we have already learned that how to find out. It is the number of units sold multiplied by the invoice price. Remember, the same amount you have already credited in the consignment account as consignment sales, you simply write the consignee's name, that is by consignee, in the consignment account. The same amount is to be recorded in the consignee's account as to consignment. So it is simply the posting of one journal entry, and that is consignee's account debited to consignment. So the entry for the same would be consignee account debited to consignment account. Now, coming to the credit side of the consignee's account, first thing we record are the expenses incurred by the consignee and also the commission charged by the consignee. Now, this is the amount which the consignor owes to the consignee. Therefore, for this particular amount, consignee stands as a creditor to the consignor. That is why consignee's account is credited. Now, you all must be wondering what shall be the journal entry for this. Well, the journal entry for this is consignment account debited to consignee. Now, sometimes in practice, the consignor may keep a condition that the consignee has to send some amount as in advance in the form of either bill receivable or maybe in cash. So this has to be recorded in the credit side of the consignee's account. And the journal entry for this would be bank account debited or bill receivable account debited to consignee's account. Now the remaining part is either the balancing amount will be paid by the consignee or it will not be paid by the consignee. So if it is paid by the consignee immediately, in that case, the balancing amount will be recorded in the credit side as by bank or by cash. But if it is unpaid, then simply the balancing figure would be written as by balance carry down. Now let us understand the accounting treatment in the books of consignee. Well, before we start with this, let us understand that consignee is although a debtor of the consignor. So therefore, consignor is a creditor of the consignee. So keeping this in mind, let us understand what types of accounts are prepared by the consignee. Well, the consignee prepares basically two types of accounts, that is the consignor's account or his creditor's account, and the commission account, of course, the income earned by way of consignment business. So first let us understand how to prepare consignor's account in the books of consignee. Now, as I told that consignor is a creditor in the books of consignee, we start with the credit side of this account. Now, in the credit side of this account, the first thing we write is the amount of sales. And that will be recorded as by bank in the case of cash sales or by consignment debtors in the case of credit sales. Well, the journal entry for this would be bank account debited, consignment debtors account debited to consignor's account. Bank will be debited in case of cash sales, whereas consignment debtors would be debited in case of credit sales. Well, let us understand the debit side of the consignor's account. Now, in the debit side of the consignor's account, the consignee is going to record all the expenses which he has incurred on behalf of the consignor. Therefore, all the expenses incurred by the consignee will be recorded in the debit side as to bank. Alright, because it is going to reduce the bank balance or the cash balance of the consignee, whereas this amount of expenses are to be borne by the consignor, hence debited to the consignor's account. Now, regarding the recording of commission, well, if the commission is earned and to be recorded in the consignor's account, because it is to be ultimately paid by the consignor, and for this amount consignor stands as a debtor for the consignee. Therefore, it is recorded in the debit side as to commission, and the journal entry for this would be consignor's account debited to commission account. Now, how the commission is to be calculated, what are the different types of commission, we will learn about in the later part of this video. Now, the next thing is the amount of advances paid by the consignee to the consignor. Well, if any advances have been already paid by the consignee to the consignor, it will again be recorded in the debit side of the consignor's account as to bank. But if any amount has been accepted by the consignee in the form of bills, then it must be recorded as to bills payable. Now, let us understand the closing of the consignor account, that is finding the balance of the consignor's account. That means the amount remaining to be paid to the consignor by the consignee. Now, by the end of the year, if this amount is paid by the consignee to the consignor, we will record it as to bank, that is consignor's account debited to bank. But if it remains unpaid, then simply close it with the balancing amount as to balance carry down. Well, coming to the second account to be prepared in the books of consignee, that is commission account, let me tell you that commission is an income for the consignee. Therefore, this account gets credited. Now, to record this particular amount in the commission account, we simply write in the credit side as by consignor, because the same amount was just now recorded in the debit side of the consignor's account. So it is simply the posting of the same entry, that is consignor account debited to commission. Now, while closing this particular account, you simply have to transfer the entire amount of commission to the profit and loss of the consignee. Therefore, in the debit side, we record it as to P&L account or to profit and loss account. Let us understand carefully that how the commission account is credited or how the commission is valuated. So, in the first part of the video, I had already explained you that there are three types of commission which can be agreed upon between the consignor and the consignee. The first one being the simple commission. Now, in this case, you can evaluate the simple commission by simply multiplying the rate of the commission with the total sales to get the amount of commission to be recorded in the credit side of the commission account. The second type of commission could be del crede commission. Now, this commission is usually given by the consignor to the consignee to make credit sale or to expand sales to the maximum limit. Now, if the credit sales are incurred, there are chances of bad debts as well. Now, who is going to bear the bad debts? If the consignee is going to bear the bad debts, then he gets a del crede commission from the consignor. This can be in addition of the simple commission, or can be given separately as well. Well, the calculation of del creditor commission is simple and just as the simple commission. You can record it by multiplying it with the amount of either credit sales, but if it is mentioned in the question, only then. Otherwise, multiply the rate of commission with the amount of total sales. So generally, del creditor commission is calculated on the total sales, and del creditor commission is usually a little higher than the simple rate of commission. Now, understand the recording of del creditor commission in the books of the consignee. If del creditor commission is given by the consignor to the consignee, then bad debts cannot be recorded in the books of consignor, whereas it will be recorded in the books of consignee. So, if del creditor commission is given by the consignor to the consignee, the entry would be bad debts account debited to consignment debtors. Now, this entry is passed because the loss of bad debts is to be borne by the consignee himself, so this bad debt will be recorded in his own books of accounts. But if bad debts are to be borne by the consignor, that is, del creditor commission is not given by the consignor to the consignee, the entry would be consignor's account debited to consignment debtors. Now, because of this amount, the amount payable to the debtor or the amount payable to the consignor gets reduced. Alright, that's why we record this amount of bad debt in the consignor's account, in the debit side only. Now, the third and last type of commission is overriding commission. Now, this is an extra amount paid to the consignee to make excessive sales at a higher prices. So, if the consignee is able to make the sales over and above the invoice price, he would get an extra commission along with the simple or del creditor commission in the form of overriding commission. So, keeping this point in mind, it is very easy to understand the valuation of overriding commission. So, it is simply valued as value in excess of invoice price multiplied by the agreed rate of overriding commission. Well, there can be a possible condition where the consignor doesn't want to disclose the profit earned by him out of this consignment business. When he doesn't want to reveal the margin he is earning out of this consignment business, what he'll do? He will simply send the goods at invoice price without revealing the cost price and the margin earned between to the consignee. Now, if this is the case, then it becomes difficult for the accountant to calculate the consignment profits. Why? Because all the goods which are debited in the consignment account will be recorded at the invoice price, and also all the goods which have been sold during this consignment business are also recorded at invoice price. Even the closing stock is also valued at invoice price. Now, if all the debit items and all the credit items are recorded at invoice price itself, how are we going to calculate profit or loss arising out of this consignment business? Well, to overcome this confusion, here comes the concept of stock reserve account. So, if consignor is consigning goods at invoice price, we will record the opening stock, the goods sent on consignment at the invoice price in the debit side of the consignment account. Similarly, we will be recording all the consignment stock also at invoice price in the credit side of consignment account. Now, to nullify the effect of profit, we credit the amount of the profit included in the opening stock in the credit side of the consignment account by simply writing as by stock reserve. Now, this stock reserve is only the margin, that is the amount of profit included in the opening stock, and by writing it in the credit side of the consignment account, we are simply cancelling the effect of profit from both the sides. Similarly, the goods consigned to the consignee is recorded in the debit side of the consignment account as to goods sent on consignment. The same account will be written in the credit side as well, but only with the profit margin. In the same way, we will derive the profit margin included in the closing stock, which is also written at the invoice price, and that profit margin will be written in the debit side again as stock reserve, and the amount of profit margin included in the closing stock gets nullified because of this particular entry. And now it becomes easy for us to calculate the correct profit arising out of this consignment business. So dear all, I hope by now you all must have understood the different types of accounts prepared in the books of consignor and the types of accounts to be prepared in the books of consignee. And in all the previous parts of the videos related to the consignment account must be very clear to all of you. Well, as the saying goes, practice makes the man perfect. The more you practice, the more you will understand. Till then, goodbye, keep safe, keep healthy.